I have a disclaimer to make. I am a Saramago fan, which is our Nobel Prize for literature, and he uses big sentences. I'm sorry for that. Okay, basically, what is the problem? First, we are lagging growth, and we are not exploring the installed capacities for the development of production technologies, and neither we are exploiting the full potential of the leverage effect that the production technology industry can have at the manufacturing industry at large in all sectors. So, what is the objective? The objective here is to, via cluster nurturing, via the development of strategic research agendas, and via the deployment of a pipeline of projects for R&D, innovation and demonstration, to promote the development of new production technologies and processes that embed advanced knowledge that we will later on be able to equip the manufacturing industry at large. So, what are the content and, of course, the activities that are set up to put this in course? First, to nurture the cluster. Second, to take advantage of the trajectory of the technology trajectories of the installed capacities and of the endowed competences to leverage and to promote the development of new technologies and new production processes and systems. Secondly, to articulate the stakeholders, notably companies from production technology industry, companies from the manufacturing industry from the several sectors, and of course research and technology organizations to deploy this pipeline of R&D projects. Fourth, it is to leverage then the development of production technologies, but via large-scale R&D initiatives that fosters cross-fertilization, intersectorial transfer, and that uses an adequate funding mix for its implementation, and of course to implement complementary activities that further the dissemination and diffusion of these technologies within the industrial fabric. What were the other points? Okay, stakeholders involved. I have already mentioned most of them, but I would like also to stress three types of stakeholders. Firstly, industrial associations, because they have a leveraging effect, a multiplying effect in the spreading out of the resulting innovations towards the economic fabric. Second, regional and national authorities, because they provide the means for and the funding mix of instruments that is able to leverage this pipeline of projects, and of course other investors. The last question. Results. Basically, on the implementation of the previous structural funds between the period 2007 till 2013, we had a large-scale mobilizing project that gathered 42 partners, 12.5 million of investment, 8.5 million of incentives. Under these projects, we were able to develop 15 new solutions and technologies, but most importantly, to have 5 pilot installations in real companies. Of course, that it were developed several prototypes, 45 dissemination actions, but it is interesting to know that within the 6-month frame, that from the end of the project until from the end of the project, more 10 spin-out projects, R&D projects, were developed. And overall, within the cluster's priorities that were used by our funding initiative to classify or to incentivize the companies to promote R&D. Over 80 projects were funded within clusters priorities, around 59 million of investment, 37.5 million of incentives. In the current multi-annual program of the cluster, we have this R&D and innovation and demonstration axis. We have a budget of 33 million of investment, and last October we have just submitted an application for one of these large-scale projects that gather a partnership of 47 partners and 10 million of investment. Thank you so much. Questions?
Are you still monitoring the projects and the result achieved from the previous programming period within 2013? Or after the end of the program, after the end of the call, you think of new things, but you lose the contact? Because I mean, you help to R&D project to develop pilots and solutions and whatever. Are you monitoring in some way this pilot and solution, and are you aware if they became real products or what they attain in a business?
Okay. If there is a systematic monitoring and quantification and so on, no, of course. If you ask me, okay, a project that was developed 10 years ago, or 10 years ago, what is the revenue that it has generated for such? Well, basically, there is no system that can actually provide that type of information. But of course, that we do monitor, because we do develop this technology road mapping, and we redefined what are our strategic agenda in terms of R&D teams. And this implies that we are able to look at the past and to analyze what were the trajectories, and to assess, okay, we should invest more in this specific team. The industry sees as a trend another team, so we should add it to our strategic agenda. So it is a monitoring, in fact, in place, but not that quantified system that we all would like to have, but it has all the limitations in terms of the collection of the data.